Let's save the Oasis.
Hello everybody, welcome back to episode 2 of Same Great Taste. We did episode 1 about what, a year and a half ago?
Yeah. Probably longer than that. When did Shin Godzilla come out?
I think Ben was only a few months old, so
Yeah.
it's been at least over a year, so hello?
Typical.
We're here because we just saw the latest movie by Cinematic Lover. I want to be with that. We saw Steven Spielberg's latest movie, and we thought because it is
Cinematic Seducer.
Cinematic Seducer featuring dinosaurs, and because we thought it's filled with references and IP and things like that, and because that's all we typically do for humor on this channel, we thought what better way to bring back Same Great Taste, a review show nobody wanted, than by reviewing
A movie nobody wanted.
Ready Player One.
Is a mess.
It's you just jumping the gun like that. It is a mess. I think as soon as it came out, I think that's what I tweeted. I said it's a mess, but it's a, in brackets, fairly entertaining mess.
Yeah, I was surprised.
I'm surprised. You know what? I'm most surprised that it's a 82% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm not.
I guess it's somewhat not in its subject matter, but in terms of how the world views it, I believe it's somewhat similar to Ender's Game, like beloved children's book in the future. Apparently, people aren't too fond of the author.
Really?
With Ender's Game, it was because of his incredibly homophobic viewpoints and stuff like that. And with Ready Player One, I think just from what I've read online, people just don't seem to like the author for some reason.
That's weird. I saw a video with him where he was referencing all of the games that he references in the novel that most didn't make it into the movie.
Well, I think the thing with that is I doubt he had to pay any licensing to put him in the book. It's just like, because I don't think there's any type of law just to reference, oh look, it's Sonic the Hedgehog, in a work of fiction.
Really?
I don't think so, because you aren't showing them, you're just naming them. And I think it's in the because it's not like the author is writing a Sonic the Hedgehog story. It's a story that ostensibly takes place in the real world in the future, and it's just referencing IP. It's not like a bad Family Guy skit where they have like an IP character murder people.
Yeah, remember that time I met Sonic the Hedgehog?
Family Guy, Sonic the Hedgehog, funny moment.
Yeah.
Fucking hate you. So yeah, in that regard, I don't think so. But obviously, for the movie, you need a licensing approval for that kind of stuff. Which is, I think this might technically count as a spoiler. We got 2 cameras now, isn't that fancy? So, like, not with the exception of 2 things, I would say, none of the like IP make any type of plot relevance.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
maybe not 2, but there's like one. A small handful, but we're gonna spoil some things right off the bat. And I'm gonna jump the gun here because there was the only thing I knew about the book.
Was it Sonic the Hedgehog was in it?
I know not that I have no idea because I don't even know when the book was written. I don't know how when it came out. I don't really
Yeah, I don't know.
give a shit. But the only thing I knew about the book was at the end Mecha Godzilla appeared, and in my head I'm thinking as soon as I heard that I was like, I doubt they'll do that in the movie. Because you're dealing with Toho owns the franchise rights. Legendary has only licensed Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah. Because I can't see them doing Mecha Godzilla. Because it's too goofy. It's amazing, but it's too goofy to work.
Legal issues are messy.
Bring back Spectacular Spider-Man. But yeah, so when that happened, and as soon as the bad guy was about to change, like, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. So I pulled a Civil War, and I was just like, I'm going to look at TJ's face, see if he cries. And he didn't. You let me down. What the hell?
Yeah, I didn't cry this entire movie.
Why not? They showed Mechagodzilla in a really weird design.
Yeah.
I wasn't crazy about the design.
That's,
of
I
it
didn't even know what you. I think you could tell that I was like, I don't even know what this is. And then they were like, it's Mechagodzilla, and I was like, oh.
But then they also licensed the Godzilla theme.
Yeah, that surprised me.
That was cool. But part of me is like, that's amazing. But part of me is like, that ain't Mechagodzilla's theme.
No, that's just Godzilla's
Two
theme.
different themes. I sure hope someone at Toho got fired for approving that blunder. But to go into the basic story, you know what? I don't even remember any of the characters' names. Except for H, because it's easy to remember. The main guy, who everyone just calls Z, he lives in Columbus, Ohio. No joke, when that happened, I did I smoked. Yeah!
Well, and then
TJ was like, "We're in Hideout, you moron. We're not even in Columbus." But it's in Columbus in the year 2045, so some point in the future. And
some point in the future, you know what year this is, and you know what year that is.
I don't know what year people are watching this movie, watching this review. For all we know, someone's watching this in the year 2067.
I hope someone's watching this on the big screen.
So, in the past, in the far belong year of 2045.
Tonight at FTCR Spectacular, we're showing them up on a big screen.
Come join us at MomoCon 2019 when we just show this terrible review on the big screen. The world's a shithole, apparently. They don't really... Well, they kind of reference a few wars, you know, the bandwidth wars. Like,
yeah. What was the other one? I think the other one really, like, where I was just like, oh.
The Bitcoin battles. There was something dumb like that. And so Columbus, Ohio is in like, this guy, the main character lives on like trailers stacked on trailers.
Mm-hmm. They call them the stacks.
The stacks. And so, but somehow everyone can afford this amazing technology to go into the Oasis, which is this, you know, big. Imagine if essentially if the Matrix, if everyone knew the Matrix was a thing.
It's a big MMORPG.
Yeah, essentially. Where you can do all kinds of stuff. It's weird because they hint at you can do things like get married, divorce, dancing, you can have sex. But it's like,
How
exactly? But it gets, so the basic premise is when they're in the Oasis, the creator, old man Gandalf, we'll call him, his avatar is a very, I'm not sure why, I wonder if in the book he was just Gandalf.
Possibly.
He looked just like Gandalf.
Well, I watched something where they said that supposedly that design is based off an old Dungeons and Dragons like book.
Oh, so what? The Peter Jackson, Ian McKellen Gandalf is inspired by a Dungeons and Dragon thing?
No. The appearance that he takes as like the game master or whatever.
Oh yeah.
That's directly taken from a cover to a Dungeons and Dragons manual.
Gandalf.
Okay. I guess you're right.
It's Gandalf.
Whatever. Tolkien was a hack. And the downvotes continue.
But they've discovered he's dead.
Yeah.
He died loveless and I think penniless today.
No, he wasn't penniless.
I was confused. Was he? See, this is how little I was paying attention. Did Gandalf man force Simon Pegg out of the company, or did Simon Pegg force Gandalf out of the company?
He forced Simon Pegg out of the company.
Okay.
Or wait a minute.
It could be because at the end, why would Simon Pegg be there?
That's true.
Simon Pegg must have kicked him out of the company.
Yeah, but the prize was his shares in the company. So maybe he forced him out of
No, it must have been Gandalf kicking Simon Pegg out, because at the end of it they referenced the fact that Simon Pegg is brought back in as like CFO or something.
Okay, yeah.
This movie doesn't make any sense. Old man Gandalf, he reminded me kind of like, I mean, I'm sure this was in the book before the movie came out, but he kind of reminded me of Mark Zuckerberg and Social Network a little bit.
A little bit.
Like very, very social. If he was way more into like nerd shit, because he's very socially awkward, doesn't really know how to speak to people, like can't talk to girls and stuff like that. He put 3 Easter eggs in the game, which
No, he put one Easter egg in the game, but to get to the Easter egg,
oh yeah,
you have to solve the riddles.
There's 3 challenges, and each challenge gives you a key. And when the movie starts, somehow they found what the first challenge was. So I guess every once in a while, it's implied that people do this regularly. They just do this. It's this big race, and it starts off as a normal race, and then you're introduced to a bunch of like different nerd shit. Like the main character, he drives the DeLorean from Back to the Future. When we meet love interest, she is driving Kaneda's bike from Akira.
Yeah.
We'd say, I know that bike. That's Kaneda's bike from Akira. I know nerd shit.
Reference.
In that race, we get cameos from Rexy, the female T-Rex from the original Jurassic Park.
One thing I want to say about King Kong that I forgot to say when we saw it, that was probably the best, like, ape-like King Kong has ever been.
You don't like Skull Island?
I do like him in Skull Island, but I would argue he's a lot more humanoid-like.
Oh yeah.
Where this King Kong was a lot more ape-like, and I thought the movement, like the flow of like the animation of him moving around like an authentic like ape like that, I thought it was really well done.
So yeah, King Kong seems to be like the thing no one can get past ever. And then we won't go into the entire details, but they go into this kind of big library museum of Gandalf man.
The main character is a big fan of the creators.
It's kind of obsessive, kind of stalker,
A little bit.
kind of a creep. Like it's no wonder
I have a piece of his face.
Like it's no wonder he has no real life friends.
A little bit.
And he only has one friend in the game.
H.
H.
Anywho, so they solve the puzzle, and they get the first key.
And evil corporation man is not happy about that.
No, he's just like this is dumb.
What this? The movie, his plan, or this review? All 3.
But he's just like I don't care. I don't care about the first key, because now we'll get the key, but then we'll get the Easter egg first. This is my plan, and then he essentially lays out his entire plan. I'm gonna see
Lara Croft naked first.
Oh my god. Yeah, so essentially the guy wants to take over the game so that evil corporation can make more money.
The Easter egg is you get ownership of the company. So if evil corporation gets it, they can do whatever they want to, because it's kind of like it's like the greatest video game online thing ever. So literally everyone on the planet uses it, and so it's a thing where it's I guess the closest parallel to this to now would be Facebook, as like a app social experience that most people use would be Facebook. Should be like if Mark, someone offered Mark Zuckerberg died somehow, and there was Easter eggs on the website, and you find them, and then you get to own Facebook, and then MySpace got like, we're gonna get it, we're gonna be rich again.
Why is MySpace an evil corporation?
Because Tom comes out of the time. I know I sold it, but I can do it better.
Why wouldn't Twitter be like the evil corporation?
Because Twitter want nothing to do with Facebook.
No, thank you.
MySpace, like I'm gonna get it, and we're gonna turn Facebook into MySpace too.
We're gonna put more music on MySpace. I mean Facebook.
So the rest of the movie, he comes across love interest, who I guess he's a fairly prolific avatar. He watches all the streams, watches all the live streams
on Twitch. They said that in the movie.
Did they say Twitch?
He said that in the movie.
I missed Twitch.
That's why I looked at you and I was just like, come on.
Oh man, YouTube Gaming's mad now. He's like, oh man,
they're just Twitching a movie. 82% new certified fresh, and we missed it.
The guy tried to YouTube. They put Twitch a movie. And so, love interest, and it gets to a point where they think they've cracked one of the second clue, and it's at this dance club, and they go there, and he's starting to fall in love with her. And there was a scene I actually liked where he's talking about, like, I'm in love with you, and she's like, you don't know me, you know nothing about me, who I am, you just know what I show the world, you know nothing of who I am. And so I was like, yeah, it's true, like, fuck this clown, he's just, he's a horny 14-year-old online, who he's like, you don't even know I'm a girl. That's the bit where Seymour H is like, you don't even know she's really a girl.
Yeah.
Like she could be, like a 300-pound guy in Detroit living in his mother's basement. I was like, please let her be that. Like, that'd be amazing. It'd be the most progressive thing Spielberg's ever done. And so there's a moment where he reveals his real name, which I think it's Wade.
Yeah.
And then she's like, you can't fucking tell me your real name, blah, 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 blah.
It's against the terms of service.
Because it explodes at that point. And then they end up going on the run because the evil corporation realizes who he is, and so they start...
They hired a hitman.
To murder his last remaining family member.
A virtual hitman. And a real-life hitman.
The one or the other.
They're not the same person. They hired two different hit people to take him down.
Yeah. And it's a thing where, like, once shit goes down, starts going down in the real world, then Z and love interest meet up, and surprise, surprise, they live fucking right next to each other.
Yeah,
that's a big like when we said earlier.
There's a whole like 25-minute sequence where just one after another, you keep meeting these people that he plays online with on a regular basis, and at one point you turn to me and you're just like, they're all gonna live in fucking Columbus. God damn it. Every single one of them.
The script is a mess. And so shit just goes down where basically they have to find all three Sonic Forces flashbacks. So basically they have to find these 3 keys, and you know they're gonna do it. It's a fucking Spielberg movie. Overly elongated synopsis of the plot. Along the way they meet some characters who are all one note and not really have any personality. You see some references and characters.
You see a butt ton of references, but not as much as you or I thought there was going to be.
No, it's in that regard, it's very similar to Wreck-It Ralph, where there's like a few characters and a few really old franchises no one gives a fuck about anymore, like on screen, but not that many. Like, once again, no Mario.
Yeah,
we get some Sonic in this one.
Supposedly Samus was in there also.
There was a thing where I'm sure I've sort of seen there was this big leak of like someone like noted when every character appeared, and most of that list is bullshit. When I first read that list, like part of me was like part of me was like it probably won't happen, but the other part of me was like, if anyone was going to be able to get all these, it's Spielberg.
Yeah,
because he's probably the one director that places like Nintendo would probably be okay with. This is one of those movies where I'm sure when it's out on Blu-ray, people will like go by frame and pull these things out.
One thing that I noticed in reference to that, so if we got Samus but not Mario, did you also notice that we got Marvin the Martian but no other notable Looney Tune?
And I had read somewhere that the Monstars were going to have a cameo. Where are my goddamn Monstars?
2 cameras.
It's weird, we get like a weird Batman cameo at the beginning. We see the 66 Batmobile, and then
they also had like a very generic like in profile. You could climb Mount Batman.
You get Joker and Harley Quinn split second at the end. They both turn the camera.
Not split second at the end. I think you see them at the nightclub also.
I do. Okay.
Not together, but
I mean, like, in terms of like they are the only thing they're the main focus on the screen for a second as they turn to look at something. Mm-hmm. You get the Michael Bay Ninja Turtles for a split second.
Speaking of certain iterations they only showed iterations of the Injustice versions of the DC superheroes.
That makes sense, because they probably already have those models lying around. The plot is it's easy enough to follow. I'll give it that. It's not some complicated convoluted. It's just literally 3 keys, 3 things. Along the way, they keep going back to the Gandalf Museum with British robot
Ask
butler.
Jeeves. I thought that was Ask Jeeves. Like, is that when I first saw it, I was like, is that the joke?
I'm going to give away possibly the biggest plot twist in the movie. So if you don't want to hear it, listen anyway, because who cares? When it's revealed that Simon Pegg is Robot Butler, the second
Ask Jeeves.
The second he spoke, I was like, that's Simon Pegg. Because that's his voice. I was like, that's Simon Pegg. That was to me that was the least shocking plot twist in history. Like, of course it was Simon Pegg.
I wasn't shocked by it, but I wasn't thinking that the whole time. I just thought I didn't realize that it was Simon Pegg when I heard the voice, or I was just like, okay, he's in the movie, so you just lent his voice to another character.
The script, it's a mess filled with cliches and coincidences, and it's one of those stories where like everything has to go right in a specific order of events for the plot to come out the way it does. So I'm not again. I'm going to assume that that's most likely in the book as well. I doubt they deviated too much from the general plot from the book.
Supposedly they did, because I think they said that there's a lot more game references in the book.
But again, is that references isn't the same as plot? So like if they removed references,
games are a lot more essential to the plot in the book.
Instead, we have a 10-minute sequence about The Shining.
Yeah,
is that in the book?
I don't know.
Okay, probably not then. Probably not. I think it's safe to say though, our combined favorite character is Ginger Girl who works for Evil Corporation, but she's on the team. She's like part of this, like the nerd crew. Very cool. Basically, the two who kind of go through all of the pop culture that Gandalf man liked to kind of try and find clues for these characters and shit. And when they're going through, the final challenge is just there's an Atari 2600 and every game ever made for that system. So they're going through all those games. Mm-hmm. And there's one where it pulls, it zooms in on her face. She just goes,
like she almost looks
adventure.
She almost looks at the camera, but it's just such a cheesy zoom in on her face, and then she just goes.
When that happened, I turned to you. I was like, they're gonna fucking do the ET game. Then you were like, the AVGN's a mem. Imagine if the AVGN was like an avatar in that. We get one fuck, and this for Chucky.
Yeah, that was the best use of fuck in a. Was that movie PG or PG-13?
PG-13. You can't get fuck in a PG. That might be because normally Spielberg doesn't do that for his PG-13s. For his like blockbuster, his like crowd movies, that might be the first, not fuck ever in one of his movies, obviously, but I think the first in like his for kids action movies.
Gotcha.
But it's during the final battle where they're driving around, love interest like I got a secret weapon.
No, H.
Is it H? I thought it was love interest.
H is like try this little guy.
I throws out the main character. The main character goes, "What the fuck?" Throws it out the window. It goes around to land on one of the bad guys, and the bad guy just screams, "It's fucking Chucky!" Again, I think the movie this is kind of easiest to compare to in some respects is Wreck-It Ralph. Mm-hmm. The thing with Wreck-It Ralph is remove all of the established game characters, and it's still a decent movie. I think Wreck-It Ralph gets a bit slow in the middle, but I think ultimately it is it's a very strong movie. It's a movie you could easily enjoy without seeing Bowser and Sonic and Dig Dug and all that crap. Ready Player One, I mean, this is Shadow, and I'm sure this is the type of thing that Red Letter Media will mock in their review of this movie. But like those,
I can't wait.
Those were my favorite moments because like the plot is so generic, and the main couple have no chemistry because when they meet in real life, because she was saying like, I nothing like this, and I'm just disappoint you. She's just an attractive woman with a birthmark on her face, and it's just like. Well, and he's like, I still love you. It's like, well, yeah, why wouldn't you? There's nothing. It would have been more progressive if it was, not a, nothing against the actress at all, but like if it wasn't a kind of conventionally attractive redhead. Because again, she's a redhead. It's scientifically accurate. You take any woman without red hair, give them red hair, makes it 12.5% sexier. So just then off the bat, she's playing with the decks in her favor. That ain't fair.
Two cameras.
They have no chemistry. Main actor is kind of boring.
A little bit.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Okay, so there was a lot of, and I'm wondering if these are taken directly from the book because, well, actually, from what I understand, the author actually helped write the screenplay.
Okay.
So, but there was two lines that like really where I was just like.
There were a lot of lines where it's like, someone wrote this. Who wrote this? Kevin Smith? Deep cut reference.
The one was where he was. I think his name's Wade Watts. I think that's the main character's name, and he's like, my dad named me with like alliteration.
It sounds like a superhero
name: Peter Parker, Bruce Banner.
Script is pretty bad. It's got a fairly decent Alvin Silvestri score. has hints of like when the DeLorean plays, got a huge hint. So when the Zemeckis box comes out,
Cube.
get a nice Zemeckis cube, get a nice Back to the Future theme, Godzilla theme. There's a few like established.
One thing they never do. Usually, when they reference like the Back to the Future theme, they never do the whimsical part of it. Yes, that thing, and I appreciated that they included that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it'll go down as one of Spielberg's best at all.
It won't go down as worst.
No, but what I'm saying, I think it's a decent movie. I mean, the action's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes towards the end, I'm not sure if Spielberg did it on purpose, but sometimes he'll throw on like known characters on screen for like a fraction of a second, and a lot of it in the final. Because I think in the opening, you missed Sonic's first appearance.
Yep,
he's only on screen for like a second, but like that shot was in a TV spot, so I knew like as soon as I was, Sonic's gonna be there, and you were looking over there. You were looking at Tracer's ass.
Tracer's ass wasn't in the movie.
You know, it's dumb fun.
Yeah.
And I mean that it's not dumb fun in the way that
So exactly why you said that you were surprised that it had it was 82% fresh.
Yeah, I am surprised it's that high.
It's dumb fun, which means it's a Transformers movie.
Yes, I mean I would categorize this as dumb fun. The contention I will take with your parallel to the Transformers movie is those aren't dumb, they're just brainless. Well, and they're not fun, they're painful.
Okay. To us, this was dumb fun. What I'm saying is it fits in the same vein as one of the new Transformers movies. Because there's a lot of like bold action sequences and really shallow plots and stuff like that.
No, the Transformers movies have overly complicated and convoluted plots. How many of them have you seen?
Just the two.
Just the first two?
Just the two.
They're like 4 and 5 get needlessly like there's different plot holes and plot like this is very simple. Get these 3 things, do one more thing, you win. There's a big difference between just mindless shit like the Transformers movies and movies of that kind than something that's just a little that just has a kind of a weak script like this. You know, I would put this, you know, with really, honestly, I love the Marvel movies. I mean, I think the Marvel movies are most of them are better than this, but a lot of the Marvel movies have kind of, you know, weak plots and sometimes thin characters. See what I'm saying? You know, I might not go out of my way to ever see this movie ever again, but it's fine. You know, I don't regret seeing it.
It was better than I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm. So I would recommend it. I'd probably give this. A B- out of 12.
It's a strong C+.
Two cameras!